Hey everybody, I'm going to show you a quick tutorial of how to learn the Tinkercad software using their tutorials. To do this, go to tinkercad.com and sign in with Google like we usually sign in with most sites. After you pick your account, it's going to take you to your dashboard. You're going to see a logo up in the top left corner, any designs that you may have done before here, and this bar on top. Now, if this is your first time Tinkercadding, it's going to take you to a start screen. Go ahead and click this logo to come back to your dashboard because I want to make sure that we're doing the right tutorial. On the menus at the top, click Learn, and it will give you all their starters. We're going to see if we can do 7 lessons in 7 minutes. So here we go, starting with Place It. Tinkercad uses shapes to combine objects and take away from things. This works really good for designing for 3D printing, but you could also just build something that you think looks cool and you want to see a digital 3D model of it. First thing you need to learn how to do is to place objects. So over on the right side, we've got our basic shapes here. You can pick other menus, but I've made thousands of designs. I almost always only use basic shapes. I've got a lot to choose from. So we've got an orange ghost. Oh, if you want to do this on your own, the directions are on the left. You can just go through the directions, hit continue to the next step, and read it. I'm going to kind of speed it up for you a little bit. To place objects, you simply left click your mouse and hold it, drag the object over, drop it where you want it to go, and you're done. Once you click next, Tinkercad will show you some little fireworks and you can go to the next lesson. Besides placing objects, we need to be able to look around different sides of an object. To do that, we can use the view cube up here on the top left, and there's a lot of ways to move this. If you just click on part of it, it will move the camera, it'll rotate everything around the center of the screen to get to the angle that you click. So if you imagine the center of the screen is in the middle of this box, wherever you click is going to rotate the camera to look at it from that side. An easier way to do it is right click your mouse or on your Chromebook, 2-finger click, and then you can hold it and move it around as you see fit. So we can look at all sides of your object. Another important view tool is zooming in and out. You can hit the plus button to zoom in, the minus to zoom out, or if you've got a wheel on your mouse, you can wheel that up, wheel it down, and on your Chromebook you can 2-finger slide up and down to zoom in and out. One thing they don't teach in the tutorial is if you hold shift and right click, it will actually move where the center of the screen is. So now once you rotate, you're looking at a different spot. To get back to the main view, you can click the home button here and that'll recenter the camera where it started. So next up, let's learn how to move objects. Moving objects is super easy. All you need to do is click on an object. It'll pull up these handles. Those are used to resize, which we'll cover in a minute. But you want to grab a color part of the object, and you can just drag it where you want, drop it off. Now, if you lose sight of your work plane because you click it and it comes up with this menu, you can roll up the menu, get it out of the way, and move it over. I usually just move the camera, but you can do whichever you want. Ooh, we got a glitch. We got duplicated boxes. Neato. Another way you can move it is using the arrows on the keyboard. On the bottom of the screen, you've got a snap grid that shows every time you push an arrow key how far the object's going to move. Usually I'm dealing with smaller things, so I want to set that to 1/10 of a millimeter or even turn it off. But another trick for the shift button is if you hold shift, it moves that in increments of 10. So if I'm just press right, it moves at 1 millimeter. If I hold shift and right, it's going to move at 10 millimeters. If I want to lift it up off the work plane, you can grab this blow handle and kind of float it up here So you can stack the blocks, or you can hold Control up-down arrows to move it up and down. One quick trick for stacking blocks, if I wanted to put this block here on top of this one, let's make it green. So if I want to put this red guy on top of the green one, I can go to the work plane and change where the computer thinks the ground is. So when I move my mouse around, that little ghosty square is going to be the new 0 ground level for the Z. Now this is not going to work where it is, so I can just hit W on the keyboard or click work plane to go back to it. And then if I want to drop this down so they're touching, just remember drop is D. I type D on the keyboard and it drops it straight down to 0. This is a super fast way to stack objects and will save you a lot of time. But let's go on to our next lesson about rotating. Okay, to rotate an object, we're going to spin it, and it can spin in 3 directions. So to show you how to do that, I'm going to zoom in a little, use Shift and right-click to move my world over, and then I'm going to look at the cube from a view that gives me a good angle of the direction I want to rotate. So if I would look at it from the top, I'm not seeing how it's going to rotate the right way. Look at it from the front, we're rotating the Y-axis on this one. So there we go. We're going to click it and move it into these little ghosty outlines. And when you click rotate, you've got this curvy arrow that will spin your cube. And if you go outside the big circle, it goes in increments of 1 degree. Inside the circle, it goes by 22.5. So we got 45 degrees. 22.5 is half of 45. So that's why that works. But you just want to match the rotation to the ghosts. Move into my next one. Kind of looking around. Looks like this one I want a top view. And there's the handle. It'll also come up with the number of degrees. If you want, you can click on that, type it, hit enter, then it will set it to exactly what you want. A lot of 3D design, you need really specific, exact parameters, so typing things is a good tool for when we're resizing and rotating. And there we go. Once you got those 3 objects rotated, you're done. We can continue and talk about resizing in the next segment. A couple different ways that you can resize boxes, or any shape really. I'll show you, it looks kind of weird with a sphere, but I'll show you just to compare. First, click on the object and you get all these handles. The black handles will move it in one direction. And it will get, bigger or smaller from that direction. It can go negative. So if I grab here and went up, it's getting taller. But then if I go down, not only gets shorter, but it stops at the other wall and goes back. If you make a mistake resizing, best thing to do is Control Z and undo to get back to start. So for this one, I'm going to stretch it over like so. I got lucky. I got exactly 40 millimeters there. For the next one, another way you can resize is you can still click on the handle and then just type how big you want it to be. You might have to move it around a little bit, and there we go. The third way you can resize is to use the white handles. The white handle is kind of up on top of it, will raise it up in the Z property. But the other 4 white handles will move it 2 directions in one to kind of stretch it out. So if I'm stretching out here, go down there, stretch it out, that's pretty good. And then as always, you can move around. Now, if you do that with other shapes, they can start to look weird because really you're just stretching out this sphere. But what if I wanted this ball to be bigger but still be a perfect sphere? I would hold Shift when I resize, and that will keep its shape and it will scale it up to proportion. So that's how sizing works. We've got 2 more lessons. We're going to learn how to group things, which is the most important tool, and then we're going to align them so things can line up exactly right. Grouping objects is how Tinkercad combines things into one shape, and then you can turn any shape into a hole, which will cut out that shape out of anything that it touches and you group it with. So, first way to group it is click outside your object to get this red selector box, and then move it down here, and then, so I use my selector tool to grab the objects that I want to combine, and then up on top we've got all these tools here. We've got group, ungroup, which we can't do because they're not grouped obviously, align, and then flip it. Hit the group tool, and after a second you're going to see them change the same color, and then instead of being 2 separate shapes like these are, if I click there is the cylinder, but there's the box. Here I click, there's the whole thing, or if I click on the bottom, it's also the whole thing. Yeah, that's pretty useful, especially if you wanted to put just part of a shape kind of sticking out. I don't want a whole ball, but let's say I want a little bump right on this corner. If you group them, then it will make it combine, so they're one color. And when you go to print, most importantly, that'll see the printer will see this as one shape, and it won't print any lines in between it. So that's why grouping is good for adding things. What about for taking away? We've got a cylinder here that instead of being solid, this one's a hole. Another way to select what you want is you can click one of the things, hold shift, click the other one. Then when you group them, if something's a hole, it will cut that piece out. Which this one had a glitch because it made 2 copies. That's fine. We're good. You can see here how it's got the hole in the middle now. If you put it in the wrong place or you just want to do a quick edit with the last thing you grouped, you can double click it and it will go back and show you. Maybe I wanted this to actually cut off part of the box like that. Then when it's got this red outline around the area it takes up, the volume, that red kind of background shows you that this is just temporary. When I click off it, it regroups it again. So that's pretty good if you just make one little mistake or have to go back to the last thing. There's grouping. So next up, we are going to do our final lesson, which is aligning objects so they line up exactly where we need them to be with each other. So we've got 3 shapes here, and they're in different positions all over the place, X, Y, and Z. If I want to line them up, there's a couple ways we could do that. First thing is you want to select them all, either with shift or with grabbing them using a selector tool. You'll see they're all highlighted, the things that you want. Now if I didn't want the one in the middle, I can hold shift and click it, and it'll just get rid of that one. But we want all of these. I want to bring them to the front and drop them down. So these 2 bars over here are the align tool, and once you click that, you get a bunch of different handles. The right side here you can see is kind of coming off the work plane. That's our Z axis, and that will let us line them up on the top, the middle, or the bottom. If we go here and line them up on the X axis, well, that'd be so they have the same X. We can go left, center, or right. And then for the Y, we can go back, middle, or front. So let's line them up in the front. Click that one. And then line them up on the bottom. We click this one. Another way you could do it is if you have another object and you want to line up everything. If I wanted to line these up in the middle, for example, this would line them up in the middle. But what if I wanted them all lined up in the middle of this box? There's no line there. So what you can do is, after they're all grouped, you can click on one of the objects to line everything up according to that box. So if I click here, go to the middle, now they're all lined up in a row. That's how the Align tool works. There are some other lessons that you can learn how to use, more advanced tools in the software here. To do that, you could go to Learn. Make sure you're selecting 3D here instead of circuits or code blocks, and you can check out the lessons or projects to learn how to make something we can print. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Have fun.